Cześć, z tej strony KimaruPl, witam i zapraszam Was na kończynek z Dungeons 2. Tak, w odcinku retro, w którym miałem początkowo wybrać te dwie misje, dzisiaj w misji trzeciej, także Król Robert musi odejść. Tak, jak w międzyczasie zagrałem te dwie, kończyłem, robiłem z swoimi nogami, mam właśnie tą misję piątą, ale wróćmy do misji
Once the
trzeciej.
ultimate evil had escaped from the depths, still fettered to the throne, it traveled to wreak terrible vengeance on those who had done this, heavily supported by its little snots. The first target was Paladin Robert, now king of the Alliance. He had withdrawn to the quiet surroundings of his hunting lodge. There, he would be the perfect victim.
No, to przejdźmy do tego. Zbudujmy lot podstawowy bardziej, trenujmy w różny świat na powierzchni. Jakby żeśmy w tym retro odcinku nie nawet na powierzchni wyszli. Tu wyjdziemy, zrobimy czystkę, czyli przeciwników na mapie i żeby dalej tą fogę rozwinąć jeszcze. Może jeszcze goblin znajdziemy. W tej misji akurat goblin dołączyłem do naszego lochu.
According to scouts, King Robert spent most of his time strolling around his hunting lodge garden, reciting poetry. Soon his poetry would turn into mournful ballads. The vengeful evil thirsted to defeat the Alliance's king and mount his head on the wall as a trophy. Whoops, of course, I really mean that he wanted to take all of King Robert's cookies away. Better play it safe, or the age classification.
Dobry żart, ale tak to jest.
Before that, however, the ultimate evil had to do a bit of work on the dungeon. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to fund even a small army made up of a few orcs.
Tu robimy właśnie sobie tak. Właśnie tu muszę to postawić. Tu na browar będzie miejsce. Tu na te płapki będzie. Tak, już mam. Akurat ta misja nie wymaga za dużego składowiska, no. Chociaż jeszcze mogę sobie tu poszedć, żeby był ten skarbiec jeszcze tu rekrutować. No i trzeba było bardziej wtedy, jak się powinno bardziej mówić na angielski.
The first treasury was completed. Soon greedy evil's little snots would fill it with gold. Use the golden rule, right? Whoever has the gold makes the rules.
A tutaj ten zrobimy.
Right now, the restricted evil was only able to call upon orcs and little snots. But there had been rumors that some goblins were hiding out in a cave somewhere close by. The exploratory evil would be sure to follow this line of inquiry. O, powinno starczyć. Jakiś skarbiec ten starczy będzie. The first brewery was completed. Soon beer would be flowing like a river, and an Oktoberfest atmosphere would pervade all. Would the ultimate evil put the beer baron out of business? Such a duff reference.
No już tu będą te nieskończone słoty wydobywali. Jeden będzie pod piwo. miejsce? Ma. No i arki zacząć produkować. No, 2000 zbierać arki można już kupować. I mamy tu, jak na
The
powierzchni.
ultimate evil should never forget to keep a watchful eye on its beer and gold stores. If its creatures can't help themselves whenever they need to, they will get angry. Fast.
Oszczędzimy wpłata minie. I możemy już za rekrutację zacząć orków. No. Można jeszcze tu dokopać, ale... No to co? Trzeba, mogę to jeszcze sobie... Jeśli chce kopać, to niech ma.
The ultimate evil slowly made itself cozy underground. Although this was a sensible decision, there was a large and lovely overworld out there, just waiting to be destroyed. It's payday.
No, to jest to. Ile na kolejne 5 minut. Ile złota tu. Okej, można.
The warmongering evil had hired the first orc. As ancient wisdom says, violence is a solution, usually the only one. Another orc entered the service of the military-savvy evil. The horde was growing and prospering. The time to attack appeared to be right. On the surface, in the tavern of a small, miserable village, some adventurers gathered. They were acquiring Dutch courage for their visit to the dungeon by downing several beers. The dungeon had to be destroyed. The steady pounding in the rocks had given rise to overworld rumors of a new dungeon. A group of heroes set out to plunder its riches, and the ultimate evil was already looking forward to this visit.
Tak, rozprawić się z tą grupką.
The heroes didn't know what had hit them, as several orcs bore down from nowhere and annihilated them. This group of heroes had plundered their last dungeon, but there would be more. Do dungeonu ich schowam i tam możemy jeszcze iść, trochę poczyścić, ale... No, złota jest.
Chyba mają raczej, się wyleczą.
A delicious rumble announced the fact that the village's last house had crashed to the ground. Ha! There would be no more heroes meeting there to seek out the dungeon of the destruction-hungry evil. The hunting lodge of King Robert lay in the north. It was there that the ultimate evil would finally get its long-awaited revenge. However, it looked pretty damn well guarded. Maybe it should first visit the cave to the west, inhabited by a clan of goblins, where the cunning evil could do a little negotiating.
Myśl tu ciutka.
The horde came across a stray goblin by the roadside, who apparently constituted the sad remains of one of the hunting lodge's attack units. This miserable being joined the army of the powerful evil with a grateful whimper. The fortress could already be made out in the distance. The walls were lined with crossbowmen. A head-on assault would undoubtedly prove suicidal here.
Ale gdzieś się tutaj nie dosyć. Kurde, żebyśmy zdążyli.
The goblin leader prostrated himself joyfully before the ultimate evil, and immediately dispatched 2 goblins into its dungeon with a few plans for a new room, a tinkerer's cave. This was built as quickly as possible.
Znieść muszę jeszcze.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Właśnie orków też weźmiemy.
Payday!
Nic, zombie nie przeżył.
The tinkerer's cave was built. It could, however, only be used as a warehouse, as it lacked the workshop that the insidious evil's goblins needed. Quick as a flash, evil placed a creator mat in the tinkerer's cave. A sparkling new creator mat graced the tinkerer's cave of the expansion-hungry evil. A goblin would be able to work well in here, producing toolboxes. A few of these boxes would now be needed in order to invent a trap. The moody evil waited patiently.
Czy tutaj pułapkę, czy jeszcze budynek? Ja tak mamy. Trochę wrócili. Zarabiamy na tyle, żeby to nam starczało. Piwo jest myślę, że nawet nody.
As cowardly as the goblins were, their creativity more than made up for this. They proudly presented the treacherous evil with their plan for a devious trap. With a silent, evil cackle, it quickly buckled down to setting the trap.
No to oczywiście od goblina żeśmy stracili, ale cóż, bywa jak bywa.
Job done. The trap was finished and ready to be found by a hero. This is going to be so much fun. Just at that moment, a particularly powerful dwarf warrior appeared in the dungeon. How had he suddenly arrived at this precise time was indeed most odd, but his presence was more than welcome. He was going to be a guinea pig for the trap.
No to zobaczymy. No to i tak jest bomba.
Even this strong dwarf warrior didn't stand a chance against the treacherous traps and powerful monsters of the invincible evil. He bit the dust. So much for being dwarves. The dungeon's defenses were now clearly much improved, but the hunting lodge still remained well protected and impregnable. There was nothing that the ultimate evil could do. The task was impossible. So the evil withdrew, bent and broken, let feelings of revenge ebb away, and instead took up looking after those cute, teeny weeny trees.
No.
What are they called again? Bonsai, yes, that's it.
Ale tam tylko temu przejść do
Pretty
czyszczenia.
unsatisfactory, huh? Of course, that wasn't the end. In reality, the indefatigable evil paid the goblin cave another little visit. The goblin leader would hopefully spit out something useful after a few more slabs.
No, bierzemy trzorki. Łuk zostaje, to mamy obronę. Idziemy.
The expansion-driven evil couldn't wait to explore the further possibilities of the Tinkerer's Cave. In particular, a hospital seemed a useful way to cure its ailing youth. It set about asking for this to be researched.
No, kratce tu postawimy, niech nic nocy to będą.
A few hard slaps were enough to motivate the leader of the goblins to help the ultimate evil. As it transpired, there was an old tunnel which had been previously used as an escape route. This connected the goblin cave with the vaults of the hunting lodge. The goblin leader voluntarily made a goblin assassin available to the hard-hitting evil to help infiltrate the lodge. The charitable evil had researched the hospital. This would enable its units to quickly recover from their injuries, once it had been built, that is. The caring evil had good-naturedly built a hospital for its suffering creatures. It, however, still lacked a hospital bed. Little Snots would then bring any units there that had been injured in the dungeon.
Dobrze wiedzieć, bo już idą misi. Natomiast, że nie mogą zostawić tam. Jest jak jest. Dobra.
The first hospital bed had been built. Wounded units could now be healed in the hospital. Little snots would also be able to bring defeated creatures here, so that they could be nursed back to health.
Szkoda, że ten nobli mi siatka. Padł bardziej. Dobrze, teraz inny tego.
There are enemies. The cheerful evil was pleased with this support. An assassin was a decent melee fighter, but its actual strength lay in its ability to make itself invisible. This was, of course, tested out immediately. Despite the powerful invisibility skill, it was advisable for the ultimate evil to be cautious. Some opponents had such highly trained observation skills that they were actually able to see invisible units. A locked door prevented the assassin from progressing. It would have taken a long time for him to have opened it with sheer brute force using weaponry. Thankfully, he had a suitable skill with which he could deactivate doors, and more importantly, traps. The on-the-ball evil recognized that the warrior princess there was extremely powerful. The goblin assassin would be best advised to avoid any contact with her.
Dobrze, udało się.
A gobobot was being forced to make miserable repairs in the lodge. A brief feeling of what it thought might be sympathy passed through the sensitive evil, but this actually turned out to be a mighty belch. Naturally, it would free the useful gobobot anyway.
Dobrze. Czekam, aż energia się odnowi.
Elated by the assassin's attempt at rescuing it, the gobobot joined the horde and succeeded in showing its tormentors a real hot time. Its ability to more or less ignore ranged damage and set fire to large areas would come in very handy. The hunting lodge was completely destroyed. The vengeful evil gave itself a very self-satisfied pat on the back. The time was right to concentrate on King Robert. He was in his renowned garden reciting his much less renowned love poems. The lyrically challenged evil had no time for poetry and would soon make this tangibly clear to him.
Wiedziałem, że ruszę.
It's payday. The king was accompanied by a pixie who was able to cast powerful healing magic. Any direct attack would be suicidal. Mercifully, the omniscient and helpful narrator was at hand. He pointed out to the impatient evil that the pixie went off from time to time in order to check that all was well, and much more importantly, eat her supper in a little camp to the south. The pixie buzzed over to eat her meal. The ultimate evil prepared an ambush. The annoying little pixie had spoken her last healing spell. The crafty-minded evil sculpted a fan from her wings. Now it was time to look for King Robert and ensure his early demise.
No, prawie padł. O,
King Robert fell, and the ultimate evil had received its well-deserved revenge. But there were still many more heroes out there who deserved to bite the dust. Their time would...
to mamy trzecią misję już zrobioną.
Although Krotos managed to escape,
Dobrze.
the demigod Krotos, one of the sniveling cowards who had banished the ultimate evil, had just marched his alliance army out of the swamplands to fight the snake-like Nagas. The ultimate evil wanted to teach him the full futility of war by ensuring his untimely passing. Besides, the Nagas could prove to be valuable allies.
Tak. To w kolejnym odcinku z odcinkiem za obejrzenie tego odcinka, trzeba w kolejnym, który będzie właśnie jeszcze no, na razie, pa.